What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Halftime Snacks podcast. This show features short interviews that you can listen during the halftime of your favorite sports events. Every Tuesday, I host fun conversations with talented people in the sports industry, where we'll learn from their stories, knowledge, and experiences. So go grab your favorite snack and come snack with us. Are you ready? Let's go! Today's episode of the Halftime Snacks features an expert in computer science, neuroscience, and artificial intelligence. This guest has conducted research for over a decade in neuroscience and artificial intelligence, has a Ph.D. in computer science, and postdoctoral studies in AI. He's the CEO and co-founder of i-BrainTech, an AI-powered brain training platform that enhances the performance of athletes in sports. Their video game trains the athlete's mind by developing skills related to planning and execution of sports actions. They currently offer the solution for soccer, began developing one for basketball, and aim to expand to other verticals. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Konstantin Sonkin.
Hello all, thank you very much. It's great intro. After that, I always feel very old.
Konstantin, man, welcome to the Halftime Snacks. Of course, it's a pleasure to have you here. How about we kick it off with a fun icebreaker, man? Let's see what you think. If you were responsible for choosing whether the world would have bagels or donuts, which one would you choose and why?
Wow, it's impossible to decide. I don't know. I love them both. I would go with bagels. We're from Israel.
Oh, you're a bagels guy. Okay. Nice. I like that. I like the spirit. You're a bagels guy. We're gonna be remembering that throughout the episode. Man, you have this very interesting background, which is very filled with tons of science and technology and computer science and AI. You have so much of that in your background, but I wonder, when exactly did you first develop a passion for technology? Maybe it was sometime in your youth, when you were young, sometime, when you tried to decide what you wanted to study. I just wonder if you can remember the moment where you first got super passionate about technology and decided that was the path that you wanted to take.
Definitely. I really remember two very important periods of my life. First, I was in my elementary school, and I really wanted to write poetry. But I found that, writing poetry is, I don't have enough skills for that. And then I found out that I'm really good in math. So I can see beauty in algorithms or in some equations. And for me, it's like writing good literature or good poetry. And then I decided to become a software developer because I can express my creativity through that. And then later on, when I was finishing my master's, I realized that being just a software developer is not poetry enough. It's not aesthetic enough. And I got really excited with the fact that once biological organization of the brain inspired AI. And since then, AI improved dramatically, and our understanding about the brain still very in the early stages. And then I said, okay, we need really to apply AI models in our computational power to better understand what we have here inside the bone of the skull. And 12 years, it was amazing journey digging into the real wonders of our brain.
And you've been in academia and in research for many years, over a decade already. Why exactly maybe you decided to make a transition into sports, coming from this very specific, technical research and academia side, then moving to sports? Like, why exactly did you decide to make that transition?
I was always on the applied side of the science. So I was always leading projects and research initiatives that have clear value and quite immediate benefits for people. And During my time at Tel Aviv University, I've been leading a research there in the Center for Innovations in Neuroscience at Tel Aviv. And we focused on the problem of rehabilitation, recovery after brain injuries that leads to disability. So imagine a person who are paralyzed after stroke, but the real problem is not with his or her limb, but the real problem is with his brain that lost ability to control the limb properly. So we developed technology to improve rehabilitation by directly training their brain to regain mobility. And then after patenting and applying that technology for healthcare industry, we started the company and started the journey to help very different type of individuals, but also working hard every day to improve their ability to control movements for their proficiency. And of course, I'm talking about athletes. And this is how we started our journey in the sports arena, allowing athletes to improve their performance by directly training their brain.
Very, very interesting. I want to talk about i-BrainTech because I think it's a very interesting solution that brings onto the sports market. But I know that maybe someone that is not too technical or might not have a very specific scientific background may have it hard to understand how exactly this works or what is the science or logic behind it. So I wonder if you can maybe share with us how exactly does it work, but try to explain this to us if we were 5 years old. That's how I always say it, so that we can keep it very, very simple of what exactly does it do and what's the logic behind it and the idea that it really aims to solve.
Absolutely. This is the main purpose. And the concept is really very simple and cool. Imagine a computer game, sports computer game, that you play with your mind effort only. You have your avatar in your sports, in your stadium where you train, and you need to control the behavior of this avatar. How you can do that? You just need to visualize actions and then avatar execute them. And the trick here is that when you just visualize a kick, a pass, our brain needs to plan this action before execution. And then when millions of neurons work together, we can sense the activation of the brain with a special sensory cap that you need to wear on your head. So you put on a cap that looks like a swimming cap with a few silver sensors placed strategically there, and we can track how well you activate or imagine movements. And the thing is that when you just imagine the movement, our brain performs exactly the same work as when you really move on the field, on the court, in your game. And if you can sense and decode the activations of the brain during visualization effort, you can give immediate feedback how well you visualized your action. So I can tell you not only that you visualized the kick, but how well you did that. Was your concentration level on the maximum of what is available for you? What was your motor activation according to your level? And then it leads us to an opportunity to exercise the brain, very specific regions of the brain, the same way as you go to the gym. You go to the gym, you do push-ups, and your biceps grows as a response because you exercise this specific muscle. The same goes for the brain. It is use it or lose it. If you use and activate and exercise specific areas of the brain, then as a response, more and more neurons involved and more connections established to support that function. So you play the game, just visualizing actions, you see immediate feedback. Your avatar, if you didn't do a good job, your avatar will miss. Your kick will be not strong enough. Your pass will be not accurate enough. So you need to be really all in and activate all relevant areas of the brain to execute very good pass or kick action on the field. And then you learn how to do that on the most optimal way and how to build your brain to support that actions when you need them on the field.
I wonder if, in terms of timing, this could have worked, say, 15 years ago, or is this something that, given the technology that exists today, enables us to have this type of solution right now? Is timing appropriate now, or could this have existed, or this maybe existed in other variations in other areas for other types of research or studies before? What are your thoughts around that?
In this particular case, both answers are yes. The basic technology called neurofeedback is around and available around 30 years. And recently, just last year, it was FDA cleared for ADHD treatment. It's been applied to regulate different areas of the brain for enhanced performance. Nevertheless, the moderate direct training of the brain was not possible because the motor signals are so tiny and complex. So only few years ago, we got enough computational power and sophisticated enough algorithms to do that in real time. Of course, we could do that post factum. We can record 1 hour of visualization effort and then analyze it. And then I can tell you, this area is good, is activated really well, but this area should be like, we can work on that. But then you as individual can't really use that information. You can't influence that, you can't train that area. And because we are talking now in real-time training, we need fast enough and efficient enough computation to support that.
That is actually really interesting. I think we're gonna get into it a little bit later, more around that. But I wonder, I'm super curious if there's any specific lessons that you acquired through i-BrainTech about athletes, or about the way athletes make decisions, the decision-making process of athletes. Something that you learned about athletes, or specifically for soccer in this case, through i-BrainTech. Is there 1 or 2 lessons that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, we learned so much about that field. We started with soccer, but we released recently basketball. So generally, we work with athletes as a general, and they are super competitive. This is number one. And each and every solution that can make them better, they're mostly in. Nevertheless, the dynamics of the brain training is very different between young athletes and veterans. Veterans, for instance, can't spend enough time on the field. The same amount of training and repetitions they cannot do anymore. And they love i-Brain because they can do visualization instead of some part of the work on the field. Where young guys, they spend on the field enormous amount of time, but they want and still need more and more. And they use us extra to the field because they can work on many repetitions in addition to what they can do on the field to really create automatism that differentiates pro from amateur. So their habits are different, their brain patterns are very different, but the buy-in from Generation Z, from young guys, once they hear a concept, computer game, that I can play with my mind and become better footballer, shut up and let me try it. That's it. No explanation needed.
Shut up and take my money, huh? I'm a little bit like curious around how exactly do we scale this solution. I know that there's a B2C plan in the making. Probably you also want to talk about that. But you mentioned this like specific hat or wearable, let's call it, that you use on your head that has some specific electro receptors, or I don't even know how you call them. But I don't know if this is something that you can, just go and buy on any Walmart or any, Best Buy. So I wonder if there's specific plan for that you have on your mind? Maybe now it's more switching on onto the entrepreneurship side and the business side of i-BrainTech. How exactly do you plan to scale this so that eventually everyone at every level in every country in the world can have access to this specific type of training?
At the moment, we are in a very promising traction with professional clubs. i-Brain has been already implemented in 6 different countries. Recently, we signed Premier League club in the United Kingdom. It was a very important milestone for us to get acceptance from this league. And this is definitely the journey. We are going step by step, and in each and every club we open a small mind room, just mind exercise room next door to the gym. Then professional team members from first, second, and junior teams under 19, 17, 15 can come in according to their schedule and train. So this is immediate users, but then thousands of young players training with the academy, with these affiliate schools, can get access to that by unlocking that mind room concept and creating a few mind rooms in affiliate schools. And this is second step. This is the step that we're making right now. And for that, we are raising another round to get to create that infrastructure to bring brain training to this hundreds of thousands of users around clubs. But long-term objective is that you go into sports retail store. Would it be Decathlon? Would it be Dick's Sporting Goods? You buy a hat with their seamlessly integrated sensors there. You take your mobile phone and you log to your avatar in your sports. And if you do soccer, you exercise soccer actions. If your sister does basketball, she logs to her avatar with this cap and practice basketball, and that is caters to the needs of the whole family.
No, this is actually super a great point that you make, Costa, and I just want to like maybe just summarize it, because I think that one of the key elements here that I'm listening to is maybe also comparing it to the companies that created machines with specific use cases for gyms, like exercise gyms, physical gyms, right? Probably they created it, and so immediately they thought, okay, so how do we make this available for everyone? Well, you don't really need to put a machine, one machine of these in every specific household or in the hands of every customer in the world. However, you can create gyms, and probably that was the way it got initially created, where people can just go there and use it as they train and as they develop their physical and everything. And so that part of the solution is super interesting, and I'm also super fascinated by and I'm looking forward to seeing that hat at Lids or Dick's Sporting Goods, all these stores, even buying my hat, taking it to the game, halftime, maybe halftime snacks, and then after halftime snacks I'm gonna be practicing my scoring goals and everything. So I think it's super interesting, and that actually brings me next to the next topic, which is the future of neurotraining. Can all sports really be eventually tapped through this specific solution, or does this require a specific discrete amount of movements or actions that happened on the field or on the play that you can tap, meaning that maybe swimming is just thinking out of quick mind, swimming maybe harder to train for the mind because of how the dynamics of the sport? Or just tell me what you think in terms of can all sports be tapped through neurotraining, and if that is the case, how do you see it developing eventually, and how do we really get there, of course, also with i-BrainTech?
Thank you for the question. Let me start from the bigger picture. I think, and I agree with many experts in the field now that not only next frontier in sports is brain training and brain science. It's generally that neuroscience has a potential to become new AI if we measure the impact, the future impact. Now AI is is really changing many and disrupting many industries. And neuroscience has the capacity to change the way we sleep, we learn, we study, we getting trained, right? This is direct access. And this is the way, for instance, where metaverse is going to. This is the objective to get into the brain, right? By top entrepreneurs of the world right now. So we have to be careful to do it right. We have to be mindful how to train our mind. And this is very, very, very important topic. Ethics should be taken seriously into consideration in AI, and especially with neuroscience. And if we talk about sports specifically, can we train brains of different athletes? Yes, we can do that, and we have to do that. In every sport where sophisticated actions are required, can benefit from visualization and neurofeedback. I would say only, just running, jogging doesn't need us, because jogging is being controlled mostly from the spinal cord. So you don't need the training the brain, because it's not there. But most of sports action, including swimming, including golf, including tennis, also different applications of healthcare, recovery, right? And even some military applications for training next generation of soldiers can benefit from neuroscientific applications.
Wow, this is actually mind-opening, eye-opening, and gets me super excited to hear you specifically talk about all of this. It's a fascinating area of sports, and as you mentioned, the metaverse and the future of how we use and interact with our brains. I think that it's very fascinating. I agree with you on ethics. I always say, I joke with my friends that the day that corporations will learn how to tap into our brains and in our dreams, they're gonna start sponsoring, Jake from State Farm in our dreams and everything. So that's gonna be it's gonna be wild, man. So I hope that it's not too aggressive. I hope that it as you mentioned, it's ethically and done properly. Outside of sports, as you mentioned, healthcare, rehab, and military, is there any other areas that you think top of mind that that they can find so much value in this specific technology?
Generally speaking, 60% of our human brain, is built to control movements. Everything that we do in our life is through movement. We talk through movement, we act, we live through action. So of course we can benefit from that, and also like our abilities to concentrate, our abilities to focus, to sleep better. Those industries that can benefit dramatically. But healthcare, sports and military, I would say those are early adopters of each and every new technology, right? And I think the order is military, sports, and healthcare, to my pity, but that's the reality.
I don't know if you watched the movie Limitless, how they say that you only use or you only get to access 13% of the brain's capacity. And there's just so much talk around how much we don't know about the brain and how it's like a very undeveloped market. I don't know if you, not a market, undeveloped like muscle, and there's not so much that we know about it. I don't know if you agree with that, or if you have just maybe from academia a more technical side. But how much exactly do you think we know about the brain, and we've conquered and understood about it. Just do you want to just drop an opinion about it?
Generally speaking, I think that our body and generally like biological environment are very dynamic, and it always has a tendency to respond to the need. If you really need, then you can develop. If you work hard, that you can master a skill. And we all know that. And it very much depends. Like prehistoric humans were much better in hearing, in planning attack to the animal and escaping the lion. Like the processing of their feelings were more efficient. Though today we are much more efficient in processing information. And it's all depends on the real need of the environment. So I would say we as a society have that right and might to determine objectives, so we can develop ourselves towards that goals and objectives. So I hope I answered your question. I don't think that we don't use our brain. This estimation of percentage, I can't relate to that. I would say that we definitely can develop our brain better by organizing proper environment. For instance, instead of sitting in Instagram and Facebook, we can do some other activities. I understand that it is hard, but imagine if you have games or leisure activities that are helpful to you. This is one of the core values I really share and appreciate, that any training should be playful, joyful, and beneficial. This is also one of their cornerstones of what we're doing in i-BrainTech.
Yeah, I think it's a massive space, and that it is now opening up more and more opportunities for innovation and development and solutions like yours, Costa. Super excited to see where you guys are gonna get to, in the next couple of years. Can't wait to see. And man, it's been a fun time with you. It's been such an interesting, fun time with you. And I always ask this last question, personal question, before we wrap it up. So the personal question that I have for you, Costa, is that if you could pick a character from history to have one dinner with, who would you choose, and why exactly would you choose that character?
Wow, I love history, so it's so hard to select just one. I don't know. I would probably pick Einstein. I really admire him, and I would ask him about ethics of what science can bring to the table. Yeah, it would be fascinating.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy learning about the business and technology behind sports, make sure you subscribe to the Sports Tech Biz newsletter. I'll leave the link in the show notes. See you all next week. Bye-bye.